This conference will now be recorded.
And to sing the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. The meeting is available by GoToMeetings as well. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
Pam made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Jim, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approve the minutes of the June 10th and June 11th meetings. Is there any corrections that need to be done? No? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve 10th and 11th meetings.
Mark made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Todd, second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Jim,
Aye.
Sydney,
Oh, what's that word, abstain? Or,
Yep.
yeah, abstain.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Motion passes. County Attorney.
I don't have anything, we've got a couple things on the agenda today, that, I prepared some documents for. Other than that, I guess I don't have, anything specific unless somebody has questions for me about anything.
Any questions for the county attorney? No? All right, thank you. Sheriff is not here. We will skip that. Department head discussion. Good morning.
Everybody doing? All right, quick update. It's gonna get wet and wild with the flooding, so there's a chance of it. So river's coming out. Austin got quite a bit of rain and there's more in the forecast, so we'll see where we end up with all the campgrounds and everything like that. That's about a year to date from last year, so let's hope this isn't a middle of June cycle every year. It's getting old. All right, board meeting, Conservation Board had their board meeting last month. Let's see here, we had equipment quotes for the new mini excavator, which we bought next fiscal year, but we wanted to get it ordered. So we get pricing now. So we went ahead and we got one of those ordered from, I think we went with Murphy Tractor. They gave a bid and it gave a better warranty than the other bids that we had. So the board went move forward with that. The board reviewed Nature Center remodel budget, where we're at on that. We are under budget, but we are still waiting on the security doors for the front part of the building. So we're waiting on pricing on that. That's the only thing we have left, but we are currently under budget on that. The trap range group is gonna go ahead and install a new trap house up there. So the board moved forward with allowing them to move forward with putting I think they have 3 already, and they're going to add a 4th. It's either they're adding a 5th or adding a 4th. I can't remember, but they're adding one. It's always been in discussion. 2018, 2019, they had came and asked before, and then because of COVID, it kind of got delayed. So they came back and asked if they could add it now. They've had a big increase in the number of people doing trap shooting and stuff, so they need the extra house. And we had it already kind of designated as a spot, so it doesn't really affect much. So we allowed them to go forward with that. The board did discuss the water trail contract, so that project came in through the DOT bidding at $1.1 million, which is way under budget from what we had. The engineers were estimating, which was 1.7, which is awesome. We want to have to come in that low. So the board moved forward accepting that contract and signing that contract. So we're in the process of getting all the contracts signed with the DOT and with Wix Construction. Once that's all done, this project could start sometime in July, but it's the late start date is sometime in September. So they've got till September to kind of get started. So we don't have an official start date. We haven't had our pre-construction meeting. We'll go through those processes and stuff like that first. Iowa DNR Forestry is offering a grant. It's got to be a minimum of $100,000. It's only to county conservation boards, and it is for forest regeneration or forest improvements in the county conservation system. So you got to have a minimum of $100,000. It's an 80-20 match. We do have some money in our trust fund that was set aside for timber management. So we are going to go ahead and apply for that grant. Our match is going to be $40K, which allows us to apply up to $200,000, which we're going to do some work at historic oaks and Pinikin Alders wildlife area. So we're looking at going after that. The original deadline for that, when we had the board meeting, was July 4th was when the grants were due. Just the last Thursday, we got an email that says now they kicked it till the first Friday in October. So they've only had it out a month. So my guess is they realized they got so many questions from just 99 counties trying to figure out what this grant program was and all that. We knew it was coming, so we've been preparing for it. But my guess is they got a lot of questions on that. So now it's October, the first Friday in October is when the grants will be due. So we still plan on going after it at that time. The only other thing we've got for you guys is July 1st. Is that the first board meeting, Rachel? Is that the first Tuesday of July?
Yeah. Yep.
You guys have a meeting that day? So we'll need, Dennis Riley's term is up on the board, so we'll need an appointment to the Conservation Board on that date. You can't appoint until the new fiscal year, correct me if I'm stating that wrong? You have to wait till the fiscal year starts before you can appoint members. I do know, I think the gender equality rule is out, so we don't have to worry about the gender equality rule. I think that went out the door type thing, so it can be anybody, but I do know we've had people contact us for applications and stuff, and I think we'll just send them to Sydney since she's the chair, and then go that route type thing. And then you guys can go from there on your selection on July 1st. Sound good? Dennis has already filled 2 full terms, so he, by our, what your guys' Mitchell County standards are, you cannot go again. He has to take at least a year off before you can reapply. So unless you guys change your requirements type thing. That's a Mitchell County thing, not a state of Iowa code thing, so that's your guys' choice. So that's what I got for you guys.
Okay.
So, sound good?
Thank you.
Any questions? All right.
Thank you much. So to speak to the Valent thing a little bit. So when Valent was built and being proposed, the agreement was that we would get a loan out in regards for the wastewater pretreatment plant. We own the wastewater pretreatment plant, and Valent is the one that makes the payments on that loan. It was also stipulated that they would pay us, at that time, it started out at $5,000 a month in regards to expenses that we have that are related to the wastewater pretreatment plant. And then every year that goes up by based on the CPI of that year. So there's been a number of years that have went by. I don't remember exactly what the number is now that they're paying. Is it in the 6,000 range or something?
6,500 a month.
Something like, okay. So their question is, right now, it's turned into, it evolved from the city kind of being part of it to, right now what it is Valent operates it, they fix it, maintain it, and they make the loan pay the loan amount, and they pay us that monthly fee. So they politely have been wondering as far as the justification of that monthly fee, or if that amount is correct, because after so many years, it's becoming more than what that original 5,000 was. So they just simply have that question. Some of the documents, as far as the developmental agreement and things that took place at that time, are really vague. We have documents, but they're just vague. And I'm not going to point fingers at anybody by saying that, but that's just simply, that's what it is. So to know what that facility actually costs for us to operate it is kind of tough to determine. When I spoke with another supervisor a number of months ago in regards to this, the topic he came up with regard was insurance in regards to it. So that's what contacted Heartland Insurance. That's why I wanted, when they were here, I wanted to know what that cost for us to insure that facility. She is looking into that, and at this time does not have an answer. I talked with her yesterday, so doesn't have an answer as far as that dollar amount. If we're going to do something, if we need to change it or whatever on our end as far as insurance, we're going to have to do it fairly quickly because first of the year is coming up July 1st. So I don't have an answer on a dollar amount. from her yet, but that will be coming soon. She did say that Valent is she's gonna contact them. Valent does have to provide I won't have the right term, but a document stating proof of insurance on their side in regards to them having insurance on it also. So that's kind of what's happening. That's what's been cooking for a number of months, and I've been kind of dealing with it, but that's what. that's
So
where we're at.
Do we have in the files a copy of Valent's original insurance form, when the original agreement was made, or do we have available any of those documents? Even if they're vague,
There's a big-
that we could look at?
There's a big file. I don't remember if I saw an insurance document in there or not. I don't
Okay.
know. When I was going through it, and Rachel has some of it. The city of Osage has some of it. I've asked Valent for theirs, and they said that they will get a hold of, they call it legal. I'll get a hold of legal to see what they have. The thing is, some of those documents are not signed, and the most accurate one that I have came from the city of Osage.
Okay.
But some of those fees, and I believe it's Exhibit C, it lists stuff that's going on there as far as justifiable costs, but it doesn't have any of the costs in there. So when I say the word vague, it's just,
Right.
that's the word for it. Anyway, that's what's going on.
I would be more comfortable if we could look at some of those documents so that we have more of an idea to.
Sure. She has a folder up there.
Okay.
And
And
City of Osage has one.
Good.
I'll email the board the one that I have that I feel is the most informative. I can email the whole board that.
And did Valent's home office have anything? On that?
I've not heard back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Rachel, do you have anything? Okay. County engineer is not here today. We'll move on to number 7, consideration of resolution setting a public hearing for consideration of ordinance entitled, an ordinance enacting a new right-of-way control ordinance to regulate certain companies and uses of county right-of-ways. Resolution number 1288-25.
I have some comments I wanted to discuss. I hope the board has read the whole ordinance, line by line, sentence by sentence. So, I'm not gonna get into too much of this, but there are some key areas that I think require to be addressed. So on page 2, it talks about Iowa Code 331, 301, parent 1. And in the ordinance, proposed ordinance, it says, so long as such exercise or performance is not inconsistent with the laws of the state of Iowa. So the ordinance itself says that we can do these things as long as it's not inconsistent with the state of Iowa, with the laws that they have. So if you go to home rule, the one that they reference, first paragraph in that 331, 301 says, a county may, if not inconsistent with the laws of the General Assembly. We can do things, but we can't go against what Iowa code says we can do. If you go to 479B, which is the pipeline ordinance, first paragraph says, it is the purpose of the General Assembly in enacting this law to grant the Utilities Board to approve the location and the route of hazardous liquid pipelines. So the ordinance that's in front of us has nothing to do with pipelines. Pipelines are mentioned in there, but it's in a conflict with Iowa code, and it's not going to do anything in regards to limited pipelines. What it will do is going to affect all of our local people and local contractors. If you go down a little bit further on page 2 in the proposed ordinance, it says it's regulating, preventing obstructions, requiring permits for any occupancy and use. Basically, if you want to mow your ditch, you're going to have to get a permit, and you're going to have to pay for a permit to do something like that. Talks about obstructions. This is the last thing that I'll talk about. Talks about obstructions. Obstructions are unapproved or non-permitted facilities, fences, growing crops, rocks, trash, corn cobs, piles of brush, abandoned vehicles or machinery, billboards, advertising signs or devices, open ditches, dikes, tile and tile outlets, and includes the cultivation of the right-of-way. So the way I read this is not going to do anything for pipelines, but it's going to severely affect our local people. And we address these things in a common sense way right now by not having an ordinance. So I wanted to bring those points up.
But mowing ditches is not the county right away,
Yes, it is,
so why would they need a permit to mow the ditch?
because it says any use. There's
So
any use.
I do believe that
And use.
within that, and this whole ordinance, is not for the use of pipelines. Absolutely, it's a right-of-way ordinance. And I believe I've kind of worked to stress that enough. But will we affect some people if they decide to throw a bunch of rocks in a ditch and make their own driveway? Yes. But that's also an issue for our county engineer currently. He mentioned it when we were going through the ordinance, that yes, this will prevent, maybe not prevent, but allow him to enforce some of the laws that we have in place. We have the right to protect our right of way. If you read farther down in your paragraph, it states that we have the right as a county to protect our right of way. And so, and I don't want to take Rich's words, but one of the concerns was we have some people that are doing that. They're throwing things in the ditch that obstruct the drainage from field to field, within our ditches. We have people that are doing that. We don't like that. And certainly he has to go out and talk to people. But, his comment was, this will allow me to have some enforceability in people doing that. This isn't to limit or restrict, because I specifically asked the questions that you just asked of Tim Whipple, the lawyer that put this together, as did Rich. We walked through this thing step by step by step to make sure that we aren't limiting or inhibiting or throttling the farmers or landowners or homeowners within our county. Absolutely not. But if in fact someone is throwing brush in a ditch or they're obstructing the areas within a ditch or a drainage area like that, if their tile is dumping where it's not supposed to be, as an engineer, Rich is already working to address those issues. This now allows him to have some backing from our county board of supervisors.
He currently has the backing from the county supervisors. He simply needs to do his job and go out there and say, you need to remove your stuff. We don't need an
Correct.
ordinance to do that.
Correct. And
He has the ability as the
Right.
county engineer
Correct.
to say, get it out of there. We don't need to do it in this manner. So that's all I can say about that.
Okay.
It does talk about setback distances. I don't know why it has setback distances in there in regards to
Sure,
anybody
I
using
can
it.
explain.
it amounts to, well, I'm not gonna go through those numbers, but it's just a very narrow trough in any mile that you can actually do anything. It's ridiculous when you look at it, but anyway, I think there's a number of concerns in here. The board should really read this to see if this is in the best interest of our people. If this is not for pipelines, why are pipelines mentioned and why is there setback distances? And again, if there are problems out there, and there are, I worked in that department forever, so I know that there are issues, totally do, but you address them in a common sense manner. You don't need to regulate and create a law that fines people in here $250 a day in regards to something that they have in there. I think this is overreach.
So in terms of, our local problem, probably not. What this does is prevents private companies, private entities from burrowing through our roads, our ditches, our intersections. When we look at some of the projects that have come through the county and how much, I don't know that we can put a dollar sign on how much the county has paid to put things back into place. So what this does is protect what we as taxpayers have already paid for. We've already put those roads and ditches and culverts in place. And I can assure you, I sat with Rich and he poured through this thing diligently and followed up with Tim Whipple multiple times in reviewing, and he is very, very protective of the county taxpayers, the farmers, the landowners. This is put in place to protect from private entities taking advantage of our thoroughfares. You will go through this county and how many lines are in ditches and coming through roadways. Yeah, there's a lot, but there's a lot more that want to do so. And so it's a step for us to protect ourselves. And you also notice that the permits and the fines and so forth are within the hands of the county engineer, his judgment. So I don't know that from a local standpoint, it is going to hurt our county individuals any more than what we have in place now, which we have nothing in place. Many counties are putting a right-of-way ordinance in place just to protect what we already have.
I don't care what, go ahead. I don't care what other counties are doing. I know this is gonna affect our local people, plain and simple, because it says it does. We can do it by a common sense procedure the way we do it right now. And yes, Rich currently has the ability to manage that without this being in place. Okay.
Any more? Okay. Resolution number 1288-25. The Board of Supervisors of Mitchell County, Iowa met in regular/special session on the 17th day of June 2025 at 8:30 a.m. The adoption of the following resolution was moved and seconded. Whereas the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors desires to pass ordinance number 61, which is entitled an ordinance enacting a new right-of-way control ordinance to regulate certain companies and uses of county right-of-way. And whereas it is in the best interest of Mitchell County, Iowa, and it is now necessary to act, whereas now therefore be it resolved that Mitchell County ordinance number 61 be enacted through required methods. Be it further resolved that this matter come on for hearing and the option of the ordinance to effect the same come on for hearing on the 8th day of July 2025 at 8:45. at the Board of Supervisors meeting at the Mitchell County Courthouse in Osage, Iowa, and that appropriate notice be published. Is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 1288-25, an ordinance enacting a new right-of-way control ordinance to regulate certain occupancies and uses of the county right-of-way.
Hannah made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mark, second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Cindy.
Aye.
Jim.
Nay.
Motion passes. Next, we have number 8, consideration of resolution setting a public hearing for consideration of ordinance entitled an ordinance amending the Mitchell County zoning ordinance, ordinance number 17, regarding provisions, I can't speak today, sorry guys, regulating commercial wind energy conversion systems and battery energy storage systems. We have resolution number 1289-25. You want to come up and
Can I
Sit up there. or-
comment?
You can sit there.
Oh.
Just for case. You want me to read this first or you want to?
Oh, no. Like, yeah,
The Board of Supervisors of Mitchell County, Iowa met in regular or special session on the 17th day of June 2025 at 8:30 a.m. The adoption of the following resolution was moved and seconded. Whereas the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors desires to pass ordinance number 62, which is entitled an ordinance amending the Mitchell County zoning ordinance, ordinance number 17, regarding provisions regulating commercial wind energy conservation systems and battery energy storage systems. And whereas it is in the best interest of Mitchell County, Iowa, and it is now necessary to act. Whereas now therefore be it resolved that Mitchell County ordinance number 62 be enacted through required methods. Be it further resolved that this matter come on for hearing and the option of the ordinance to effect the same come on for hearing on the 8th day of July 2025 at 9:15 a.m. at the Board of Supervisors room at the Mitchell County Courthouse in Iowa, Osage, Iowa, and that appropriate notice be published. Okay. You said you had something?
oh, I didn't know.
I just brought her up just in case anyone
Okay.
had questions.
So, I feel like the Planning and Zoning Commission committee has worked for a couple of years plus diligently on this ordinance and taken things out and put things in and reviewed and I was able to sit in on the last few meetings where they went through it word by word, sentence by sentence, and took great care. They also held their public meeting, and it's a controversial issue, but it's also one where individuals have the right and the option to either sign on or not sign on. So I guess that's,
Very glad we're getting this up. So we have a resolution number 1289-25. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Jim made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, any further discussion?
I thought they should have the battery one separate from the wind ordinance. And the batteries, I think they should be in a barrier for in case they have a spillage, so it doesn't go to the stream or waterways.
So the reason why they were done together is because it's not a specific ordinance per se, it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. So we did them at the same time because we're just going to be taking what's written and plugging it into the current zoning ordinance. So that's why it was done at the same time. They're technically separate, they're just being written in as the same amendment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And yeah, your suggestion, I mean, that's definitely something for you guys to think about. So, I mean, I would say take that into consideration. The other thing is John Robbins from NICOG will be at this, will be at your public hearing.
Public hearing.
So, I've already let him know of the date, he's already wrote it on his schedule, so as long as you guys schedule it in today, he'll be there. So that's, yeah, definitely something to consider, but that's why batteries and wind were done at the same time, just because it's an amendment to our current zoning ordinance. It's not a specific ordinance standalone.
In itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Thank you.
Roll call, Mark,
No.
Pam,
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Todd.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. I'll send a confirmation email to John this morning just to let him know.
Thank you, Amanda. Thanks. All right, we'll move on to number 9, approved tobacco permit application for Boone 2 Inc. Def/Mona Tobacco. Believe we have everything in order here. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion for tobacco permit application.
Mark made a motion. Is there a second?
I seconded.
Pam second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 10, discussion and possible action on solution software contract. Ryan,
One second.
good morning.
Yes, good morning. So, cut to the chase, there's counties that have started to sign the contract, so,
Okay.
are trying to be unified and go together on the letter. I mean, I'm glad we tried, but it didn't really, amount to much. So, we're at the point where, I'd like the board to approve signing of the document and to get that process rolling. I went on to the, ISIT Slack, which is a chat, in 14 counties. I don't know how many are in there. 14 counties plan on signing this either today or the next week. So it's kind of inevitable. I didn't see any reason to delay what was gonna happen anyway, so that's why I had this put on the agenda. No.
So other than the original updates that they made,
Which were, yeah,
corrections or
You
whatever
correct, yeah,
that they
I kinda-
made to their document.
it has been signed by multiple counties as is, so I don't see that changing.
Okay.
So it'll end up being a lawyer thing. When we get,
So
if it ever comes to having an issue, sorry.
no, you're fine. This is the $60,000
Yes,
thing.
that's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And I will sign it, I will send it, and I will send it. And I'll CC the supervisors on all the documents that I submit. So you're just in the loop for it.
All right.
So this means that they will in full be the backup should you be on vacation or
Well,
whatever.
this
the
is
case.
separate. This is just the software I came to talk
Right,
about.
so this is, okay, this is, you've already.
The other one's a
The other
different
ones are-
animal,
yeah.
which I'm still working on.
So we still, okay, I was gonna.
Yeah, that's,
We're waiting on that.
it's a
side.
different, yeah,
That's
Okay.
the other one.
that's the other side. Yes, this
We
is,
still have to get that done before July 1st.
we'll have to get that done before July 1st.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the software agreement with Solutions.
Pam made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Jim, second. Any further discussion?
Roll call, Sydney.
All right.
Todd.
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Mark.
All right, thank you guys. I'll get that done today.
Thank
Get
you.
it out of the way finally.
Appreciate it.
Can I jump in? I
Yes,
did have something for department head.
I thought you did, so.
I forwarded you guys the information on the access contract for
Yeah.
social services. I don't know what you want to do. They gave an option if we wanted to buy out, if we wanted to return, or if there was someone that wanted to use it, but I don't know. And it's weird because I was gone last Thursday and Friday, and the first initial email asked about waiting on information to show this is make sure I have the right email.
The final report.
Yeah, like a final report saying that they're done, but it's like, they still have social services, they just don't have it in Mitchell County. So I don't know, and I forwarded the email from, was it Mary, maybe? that stated like there was no longer gonna be an office in Mitchell County.
Mhm.
So I don't know how to go further.
Does anybody want it?
The one in my office, we have one in our main office and I have one that I use in my office for a lot of like board meeting stuff. My issue is I don't want 1,000 copies per month, like that's a lot of copies.
And I think you can decrease it.
Would it be okay if it, like, so on the one I have in there now, when we do it like a year, I do a yearly thing. So like I adjust that depending on how the year went. Does it matter if this one's a 5-year contract?
Yeah, this one's a
I don't know.
5-year at 1,000 a year, black and white, or
Yeah,
I can call my Access contact. She was really nice to work with. I can see if she can
get that.
get it changed. Because when we did our contract with ours, she said we can fluctuate if we needed to and and they also said that if you don't use as many copies that month, they could go in and just decrease it or increase it how we need it.
Yeah.
As long as we're not going like 1,000 over,
Right.
So I think Ryan, you can contact her.
Yeah, sure.
Contact
Yeah,
Nicole.
I've never had a problem doing that with any copier vendor. They'd rather have some money than none, so I don't see
Yeah.
any problem with it.
I
Maybe
think-
we'll do it by ticks, but we'll figure out the most
And
cost
I'll
effective way.
check with, mine's through Gordon Flash right now. We own the copier. We're just paying for a service agreement for her.
Yep.
But it's kind of at the age of, no return. It's so old, so
Yeah.
I'll see if I can end that one to do the other one.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of Nicole.
How many years are left on it, you know?
It was signed in 2023, I believe.
November of 2023,
Yeah.
and it was for 60 months, so,
That's typical.
yeah.
I don't know, to me, the prices were very high for being 2 years into it already, I guess, but maybe that's how. it
We'd
works.
heard that there were several other counties that were trying to get out of similar type contracts that,
Yeah.
that were having some challenges. Either they were hiking the price up to do so, but
Ryan, reach out to Nicole. I think she'll
Yeah,
work with
Nicole
us.
is very good. She'll get us straightened out.
Okay.
We don't own it though. I mean, if you want it, I'm totally good with that, but
Yeah.
if this doesn't work out,
Yeah, then I want to.
we don't own it.
Yeah.
Come get it.
If it's that much more expensive than like what my current one is, to me, it's not worth it because we have our other copier that I can use, so.
or what the capabilities are of it even, you know, you might want to check that before you even make that
Yeah.
choice to go over there.
Look into those and maybe find a way out. I don't know.
Whatever help you need, let me know.
Sounds good.
Thanks for working on that, Rachel.
Meetings attended.
I did not have anything.
I was gone, so I hadn't been.
I did not last week.
None for me. None for me.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. In our management.
And I have one for RV Martin. The address is, oh, there we go. I just have it listed here in the southwest 1/4 of the southwest 1/4 of 299715. So it's a Floyd County one, but they bring stuff into Mitchell County. And then, the second one is for Ted Fox, 3223 Walnut Avenue, Alma.
Perfect, thank you. Public comments. Oh, all right. We will adjourn the meeting at 9:08. Wow, I really fumbled in my words.